Hi everyone, how you doing today? Thought I'd show you a new CV miner I've been working on. This is for this month's challenge to build a big drill CV miner. In other words, using these kinds of drills. And this is my second attempt. My first one I showed on a previous video. It was meant to be more of a boring kind of miner. That actually didn't work very good. I wasn't very happy with it at all. So this is a new version. This one was kind of built based on some comments about maybe how to configure one of these to work better and what to look for when you're drilling and all that fun stuff. So a completely different design this time. Now the idea and principle behind what's going on here is it has two big drills on the front, which is and basically I didn't want any blocks on the sides of these drills for a ways, but not indefinitely. Not the whole miner doesn't fit in there, but up to about this point here. Everything does not go past the size of the drills, so it allows you to kind of like bore into like an asteroid more, or if you're playing on Anvil Season 11, you would be able to like bore into the ground more, because these this kind of CV miner is allowed on planets in this season, so that's another aspect of it. Now again, originally I was trying to build a one of these miners that could literally make its own mining tunnel and be able to get back out of it. It failed miserably. So I gave up on that approach, and this one is just way different. It's basically got kind of a big boom arm where the drills are connected to it, and then you sit back kind of overlooking it from the cockpit there, and then you drill away. Here, let me show you how it drills. I'm going to go over the specs and upgrade options on it, and show you the, what the interior has to offer. There is an asteroid really close. Yeah, there it is. Let me do a little mining. Let me get the HUD on. And okay, so one other thing about mining with this kind of drills. If you notice my crosshair in the middle of the screen right now, it's white. If I start drilling when it's white, nothing's happening. But if I push forward a little bit and it turns red, it starts drilling that out until it kind of carves out the area. That's something I wasn't really doing. Sometimes if you push forward all the way, it'll turn white again, and you almost have to back off a little bit before it starts drilling properly. Like right now, it just turned white again. Now it's red again. You just basically want to make sure that it's red. And then even when it's red, you can just stop and just hold the drills, and it'll keep on drilling the outer areas out. Now you can kind of see what kind of drill. Well, you got to be careful with that cursor thing, though. You got to be kind of accurate with it. As in drilling, I would say that it's certainly faster than a SV miner at drilling. It is faster. It does get a little more product in. This is not a very good example of an asteroid. I mined the crap out of it already, and it's kind of a Swiss cheese on what's left here. So I'm not getting that much promethium or anything off from it anymore. But if you're just going to go and kind of drill into a surface area, like right now where I'm holding and it's red, it is actually drilling. It just sometimes doesn't look like it is. And then you just keep on advancing a little bit more, but you want to keep that cursor red the whole time and just keep the drills running. And it will just keep on getting stuff as it does. And this is basically how it works, but it's easy to see what you're doing when you're mining with this. Now, unfortunately, sometimes, like when I dug in just a little bit, and I got to get the cursor red again before it starts drilling, and I still have the same problem I did with the other miner. Like, it suddenly doesn't want to. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's like I try to drill a little bit deeper in there, and even though there's no obstructions by the drills themselves, it still has that bit of a problem. Now you can clear out some other area around it, and then you can kind of move in, wiggle in a little bit, and you're okay. So it's definitely it actually works. Like I would trust this, I think, to use in game, especially if I was looking for like a CV type miner on the cheap. I mean, of course, I would prefer a standard laser drill miner. You know, if cost was not a thing, I do prefer that better yet. But this actually does work. It does get in quite a lot of resources fairly fast. Now, one other thing about this particular miner too is I think I'm pretty sure that it could function as a high gravity miner as well. let's just go over the specs here. You kind of seen how it drills. You can, because of this big like drill boom arm thing here, you can kind of dig into things further too, and that's the whole reason I did it in the first place. If I try to add any blocks here or anything like that, it causes more problems, and that's why I just had to not try to make it pretty or really anything there. All right, so what's how this the rest of this thing is configured. Let's go inside first here. Now I don't have anything hooked up to sensors right now, but you do have a front door or ground door access here. I did add a couple lights on the inside, but when you walk in on the lower floor, you do have O2 and med bay. It does have 2 small constructors. It has locations to add 2 advanced constructors on either side over here. Up on the ceiling, there's going to be locations to add basic CPU, 2 basic CPU cores and 2 improved CPU cores right there. And you do have a couple boxes as well. If you take this way back, there's an elevator here that goes up to the bridge. But then you have your main core here. You have a ammo box over here. It has a compact shield generator right there and some fuel tanks above that. And then you have a warp drive access door over here. Now, one of the biggest problems I had with this thing was how in the world you get a warp drive in it. One unique aspect about this particular build versus any other build I've ever done besides the big drills is this is I always have an odd number of on the width. So you have a center point block. This one, because it's 6 blocks wide over here, to keep it all like trying to be symmetrical, it's an even number on its width. That's why I'm using a double door to get in the bridge area, and that's also why I had a nightmare of a time trying to fit the warp drive. I finagled with that way too long. But basically, I had my earlier version of this. It didn't have this quite as much space back here, and the landing pad on the top was actually hanging over the back, and there was just a door here, and I had a mount location for a long-range radar. But then I could not fit the warp drive because it was 1 block not wide enough. And if I would have went with my normal setup, it would have been wide enough, and then I could fit the warp drive a lot differently. But this one's just wasn't big enough, so I put the warp drive in like that. Kind of did the back a little bit asymmetrical, so you have a walkway on one side to get in, and then the warp drive over there. But at the end of the day, it did work out. The only thing is I lost my location for a long-range radar over here because of what I did with the warp drive. So this has 2 like turret mount positions or whatever. One is obviously meant for long-range radar, and the other is meant actually for a multi-turret. Now, you could run a regular turret on here too. I figure a multi-turret would be nice if you want to do some salvaging with this when you're out in the field. So it'd be kind of over on the one side over there, because again, I don't want to put any turrets or any obstructions in this whole front part of the creation. So that kind of works for that. And then it does have 5 sentry guns on it. One other feature thing is getting it to look right landing. A little hard out in space here, but it does have quite a few landing gear. There's landing gear right on the sides there, and then there's a double set in the back. And the way it's set up is this is the bulky area of the ship, and the landing gear at the front and back of the bulky area of the ship, and this area just kind of hangs over the edge. But it looks right. It doesn't look like it would flop over, really, when it's sitting on the ground. It looks like it would be proportionally weighted out properly, I suppose, or as close to that as I could get. But anyway, it does land all right. On the bottom over here, you have access to the generators. So there's a 1x3 generator there, and then on the other side, and then in the middle, I threw a pentaxa tank up in there. So as in storage, it has a single 320k harvest bay. There's the ore we just mined. And that's about it. And then beyond that, the ammo box and the 2 storage boxes. So that's basically what I came up to. Now, this is the baseline version. If we look at the costs, it's unlock level 15, 2 hour and 5 minute build time. The rarest stuff that it needs is Zacosium and Estrium, or Estrum. So I think I said, yeah, there we go. Anyway, 580 of each of those. It's pretty quick. 122 forward, 136 lift, 122 reverse. Strafing sucks, but there's upgrade options for that too. I'll show you on the upgraded version. And these are all ion thrusters right now. So one thing that I think this could pull off pretty decently is being able to mine on high gravity planets, at least on Anvil Season 11 server. It's not allowed in the regular game, so that wouldn't be a thing. But yeah, I believe it could work as a high gravity miner just fine as well. So the upgraded version I have over here, basically this one, I added 2 basic CPU cores to it. I put in more strafing thrusters, so it's got a full set of 4 over in that area. It still has 2 more up front there. And then I added a multi-turret and a real long-range radar, and then put in the advanced warp drive, which is something I definitely want as well. So the 60 light year warp drive here. And then on the insides, I basically plopped in a couple of the advanced constructors there. So you'd have 4 functional constructors when you're out mining, so you could process a lot of ore as you're doing your job. So, and then it still has the 5 sentry guns. However, I could bring that. I really could slop in a couple more sentry guns, maybe on the bottom side, even on the baseline version. So with the more expensive version, this one unlocks at 25, of course, because of the parts I put in it. But it still ends up at a 2 hour and 41 minute build time. Of course, because of the additional CPU cores in there, you need bridges, and you're going to need an advanced upgrade kit for the long range radar, I believe. I think that's what uses it, or maybe not. I thought there used to be like radar parts. I was actually looking for those, and I'm not seeing them in the list here. But anyway, it's a little more expensive. Yeah, anyway, that's out of all my finagling around, I think this is the best setup I can come up with for a big drill CV miner that actually would be hopefully useful in game. I mean, I think I would try it. I think I would try to use this, especially it's cheaper to get in than a laser drill or official like CV miner that I would normally end up using. This is quite a bit cheaper alternative option. Of course, I probably like the laser drills better. I'm not gonna lie, but hey, I'm trying to make use of this part, which is kind of a funky part, and I'm trying to build it as cheap as I possibly can. Well, maybe not quite as cheap as I possibly can, but cheap and worthwhile. Of course, I want the production. I want some utility function in the thing. Upstairs, too, I forgot. I don't think I even went up here. It does have a passenger seat. Woohoo! And then there's our elevator going down to the bottom, and it does have a shower up here as well. And it does have a landing pad. So, I mean, you could bring in like I don't know what you'd do with it, but you could bring in a little SV fighter, or I don't know, I guess a SV miner or some other utility creation with you and drag it around, something small. Yeah, and then it does obviously it does have spotlights too, which actually do work out pretty good, where they're positioned to light up what's in front of you from your perspective of being on the top of the build, so you can actually see quite well from the cockpit here, and it's easy to line up. And you see, like, and one last thing, you see when I push forward there, it turned white. I don't know why it does that, but if you ever see it white, wiggle it around a little bit until it turns red, and just wait until it turns white again, and keep your drills running the whole time, and you'll get decent resources from mining. That's just the one thing I didn't understand when I first was messing with this. I was just ramming it into everything, or my previous version, and it wasn't doing very good. It kept on getting stuck, and when I couldn't figure out why I was getting stuck, and it was maybe sometimes you're too close, so you just got to mine a little bit differently with these, and kind of like ease off it, not try to like ram the rock in front, or the ground or whatever in front of you, and then it does all right. Like I think I expired all the asteroids out in my little creative starter planet area here, but yeah, it actually, I think I could get a decent amount of resources fairly fast with it. Again, it's still not as good as a laser drilled CV miner, but you know, it's a lot cheaper, so you get what you pay for. Other than that, that's all I've got really to show today. I'll be on the Anvil server later, streaming at probably about 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time today. Please let me know what your thoughts are on this. Anything that sticks out, like maybe a feature you might want on here or something else. And again, I haven't painted it yet. When I do paint it, I'll probably try to detail it, tweak it in certain places a little bit, maybe add a little deco thingy here or there or something like that. But other than that, it's pretty much as is. It shouldn't be a long texturing job on this thing. And I think all the mechanical parts of it are already done and working now, and I really can't think of anything else I would want to add to it. I thought about a fridge. Maybe I could stick a fridge in, you know, something like that, something small and cheap. And a couple more sentry guns. I can afford those. Maybe haul out, maybe I'll remove a couple blocks down over here somewhere and stick a couple sentry guns on the bottom side, just so it has a little bit better coverage. So I basically have sentry gun here, one on the back, off to the side there, and yeah, that's pretty much it at the time. But I think it could run 7 and still be within the Core 1 CPU constraints and won't cause any other problems. All right, other than that, you all have yourself a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later.